Minecraft is a game that's been around for a pretty long time, and no matter how you play, whether solo, or with friends, or with an enemy, there's no wrong way to play it. But in all my time playing, I had never actually beaten the game normally. And so, one day, I set out to do it, but it wouldn't just be normal. I would be doing it in hardcore. And this is what happened. Of course, it would start like any other world with chopping trees and getting wood to make basic wooden tools. Boring stuff, really. I mean, you've seen this a million times at this point, haven't you? Of course, amongst those tools would be a wooden axe that would immediately be used to kill any innocent animal standing nearby. Because why not? And with that little bit of food in my inventory, I decided it was time to immediately go and get stone tools and start mining for iron immediately. Which, rather than going poorly due to my lack of preparation, it started very strong with me finding a lot of iron very early on, making me just a bit more confident than I probably should be. But I desperately needed to find coal first, which I immediately found, so there wasn't actually much of a problem. At all. Coal in hand, I immediately started smelting more of my iron, before surfacing to gather more wood as I was out, to be able to make both an iron axe and shield. Along with cooking some more food, I finally made armor and an iron sword to go with it. Now was where that overconfidence finally started to show, as I, rather than getting more food, immediately started going for diamond. Which, just like when I was mining for iron, was going very well. Almost too well. But all good things must come to an end, right?
No. No. Okay. Why do you have a shovel?
I really don't know how I survived that encounter, but after that, I immediately went back for more diamonds like nothing even happened, not noticing my food was getting dangerously low. And now every point of damage was really starting to add up, as to heal, I would have to use rotten flesh as I was out of good food.
Why are there 6 skeletons? Why? No, 7! And why are there so many zombies? What's going on?
After getting to a safe spot, you'd think that since I had noticed my food was so low, I would go to the surface and get more. However, this is what someone smart would do, and I never claimed to be somebody smart. Going back down was a decision I would regret almost immediately though, because as soon as I got out of my boat, I was attacked by multiple mobs. I was down to 2.5 hearts with no food on me. Death was looking almost certain, especially when...
Okay, it's fine.
Surviving that incredibly close call, it was time to finally go to the surface. If it was nighttime when I made it to the surface though, I would almost guaranteed die. Fortunately, when I made it to the surface, it was daytime, which meant that I could go after cows and other animals for food to finally get back to full health. The next goal I had in mind was finding a village to be able to get a bunch of bread so that I wouldn't have to stop and hunt animals constantly. And after locating one, this happened.
Where did he go?
Anyways, after that I made a hoe and started gathering hay bales for bread. Now that I finally had food, I decided to go back to mining, despite the dangers that were immediately present, because I really just wanted to finish getting full diamond, or at least close to it. Mining down put me in a cave, which allowed me to start looking for diamonds on foot rather than having to strip mine for it, and it started to go pretty well again. I then put my diamonds to use, making some armor, as the iron armor just wasn't cutting it anymore, so I made a diamond chest piece and boots. And then, when my iron pickaxe finally broke, I made a diamond pickaxe along with some diamond pants. It was at this point that I was getting really tired of mining, as it had pretty much been the only thing I had done, and so I decided to pour some water on lava to get obsidian for a portal later. I also got enough obsidian for an enchanting table as well. After mining all the obsidian that I would need, I got one more diamond, and then decided to finally head back to the surface, having pretty much completed everything I needed to do down here. After making it to the surface, I started chopping trees again for wood, and then found an area to set up a base camp where I would start getting ready for the Nether and everything that comes after it. Because I wanted to have good enchantments on my gear before going to the Nether, I started gathering sugarcane for bookshelves, as without them, the enchantment selection would be pretty terrible. As it was becoming daytime, I made it back to my camp with enough leather and sugarcane to make 23 books, making 6 bookshelves and the enchantment table as well, as it was time to start enchanting, which, despite my efforts, I didn't really get anything too good, but it's fine, we can work with it. Feeling confident in everything I had gathered, I decided it was finally time to go to the Nether. And so, in the most scuffed way possible, I made the Nether portal, and it was finally time. Though, after finishing the portal, I didn't have a flint and steel, so after making one of those, it was actually time to go to the Nether. Immediately, I was greeted by a ghast, but after killing it, I noticed the fortress was right in front of me. And so, like a coward, I made a 4-block wide bridge to be able to cross safely, while also knowing that when I'm inevitably running, I wouldn't fall into the lava on the way out. Once I was in the fortress, I noticed to my left was a hallway which I thought would have a spawner at the end of it, and so, after building up to plug at the lava that was in the way, I got ready for the part of the run that I had dreaded the most, killing blazes. And after a little bit of hesitation, I charged down the hallway, ready to fight. Every other time I had made it to the fortress, blazes always gave me the most trouble just from the fire and the amount of damage they do, but this started off well, with the blaze drops being pretty generous. Though, I didn't notice that my shield was super close to breaking. All things considered, my strategy of just running back and forth to heal between killing them was working out in my favor, as the blaze rods were dropping, and I was not dying. Everything was fine until I started to get overwhelmed by the amount spawning, so I went under and broke the spawner from within, hoping that I'd be able to get the last few rods I needed before leaving, just with what was left, which fortunately did happen. My shield probably one hit away from breaking. I decided to immediately run out and not deal with anything else in there because as far as it stands, I was done. After making it out of the Nether safely, I decided to pack up all my things from camp and start looking for a village because rather than trading with piglins, I intended to trade with villagers. But instead of trying to make an hour of looking for a village seem interesting, I'm just gonna cut to where I've already found it because I value your time. And personally, I think it's better that way. Finally, dude. And so, after finally making it to the village, I started by gathering up villagers and putting them in a hole after giving them jobs. This would be for safekeeping while I went off to go mine sticks, which was about as interesting as it sounds. But after stick grinding, I decided it was finally time to go finish off my diamond armor, and so I went looking for the last few diamonds needed to make both a diamond helmet and a diamond sword to have a full diamond set. And with the levels I had gathered from the villagers that I traded with, I was then able to enchant my armor to the best of my ability with mostly good enchants. Also, I made a golden apple because I wanted to feel cool. With everything in place, I made the Eyes of Ender, and then also before heading out, I put feather falling on my boots to help save me from any potential accidents while fighting the dragon or while exploring, looking for the stronghold. As I was following the Eyes of Ender on the way to the stronghold, I really started to reflect on everything that had happened so far, thinking about how lucky I had been to survive everything that I had, along with just how crazy everything actually was, with the way things turned out. But it really started to set in that the dragon fight was the make or break for the run. As I was not really familiar with the dragon fight as a whole, it was going to come down to if I could figure it out on the fly, because most of my experience came from playing with friends on servers, so doing this solo was going to be different than anything I had done before. Noticing that the eye had turned above the water, I went to land to make doors real fast, so that I could be able to create a safe way down without having to worry about drowning before making it to the end. Digging down from there, I was dropped right on top of the stronghold, and immediately began searching for the portal. Despite all the mobs that were spawning in the stronghold, in all honesty, I wasn't really worried about them. I had already made it this far, so there was zero chance I was gonna die to something like a normal creeper or spider. After a bit more exploring, I went down a set of stairs, and then, across the hall from me, was the portal room, waiting. Upon entering, I broke the spawner and killed the silverfish, before approaching the portal, sorting my inventory, and then, at long last, opening the portal. Before jumping in. After getting out the endstone box, I wasted no time. Obviously, with the Ender Dragon, you have to break the crystals, and my accuracy with the bow was pretty good, although my arrows were pretty limited. But that wouldn't be a problem, right? Knowing that, I towered up one of the pillars so that I could save an arrow to break a crystal, and then continued to break the ones that were left. While getting more blocks to tower up again, that feather falling from before saved my life. Okay, yep, I like that. After that little scare, I was back to breaking the last 2 crystals. And with that last one gone, it was time to finally kill the dragon. Immediately taking shots at it with my bow, it had no way to heal, meaning every shot I took counted. And when the dragon decided to perch, I was able to dish out major damage to it, and with every swing I was brought closer to victory. And with how things were going, I knew deep down that victory was already assured. Even though it knocked me high in the air, I was ready this time. With a pearl in hand, I brushed it off like nothing even happened. And despite how tense it was, the army of Endermen chasing him did make me laugh.
Seize the dragon!
When the dragon started to perch again, I knew that with the way things were going, the next time the dragon perched would be its last. Victory was so close, and it felt like I was unstoppable, like nothing could get in the way of me beating it for the first time. It felt like nothing could stand in my way, like everything that I had done up until this point was leading up to this moment. And then the dragon started to perch again, but because of the way I was running at it, it started hitting me, and so it didn't look like I was going to be able to finish the job this time. But it didn't matter, because at this point, it didn't feel like my victory was almost assured. It was 100% guaranteed. But when it took flight again, I decided I would try to kill it with a bow and arrow, because it seemed to be the funnier outcome. And it looked like it would only take one more shot. However, you cannot script the fact that I was also down to my last arrow, so I had to make it count if I wanted to get the kill that way. I was just waiting for the dragon to come into my sight again so I could take aim and take the final shot, finishing the job. Unfortunately for me, it wasn't enough.
Aww, man.
Not that it mattered.
Even better. Die!
And that was it. I landed the final hit on the dragon, I got the Free the End achievement, and then I sat back and watched as it flew into the sky one last time, before opening the portal below me, taking me home. Before I go, I just want to say a few things. First, to you, thanks for watching. I know it wasn't the best video of all time, but it means a lot that you stuck around the whole time for me. Second, I want to thank my friends for pushing me to upload this, as without them, I probably would never have done it. And the last thing I want to say before I go is that it's only up from here, and I'll see you in the next one.